Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boylesports, Gowran Park Racecourse, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds.
As they race up the hill towards the finish, Hark the Herald here, AntePost has absolutely bolted up under Paul Town, and AntePost won by wide margin. On the final 150 yards, it's Irish Point for Marie National, who's coming with every stride. They're going to the line. Irish Point, Marie National on the near side.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Champ.ie YouTube channel, as it helps to get horse racing content out there to the wider audience. We look forward to reading all your hashtag 5cast selections in the comments section below. Enjoy the show.
Boylesports. Don't just bet, choose wisely.
Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest edition of Champ.ie. Of course, we are looking ahead to the action at the Fairyhouse Easter Festival, and we're looking ahead to day 2 with our 5cast selections to come for the 5 races. We are delighted as always to have Barry Doyle, main man in the chair, and of course Brian from Boylesports. Brian, firstly, going to come to you. Great to have you on with us, Brian O'Keeffe, of course. And Brian, it's a busy weekend for Boylesports, big sponsorship, the Irish Grand National, and of course lots of great offers in Boylesports this weekend.
Yeah, absolute, Dave. This is the day we count down to, or the weekend rather, we count down to every year. It's our kind of jewel in the crown of sponsorships, isn't it? We do have a big one next month as well at Newbury for flat fans with the Lock-Inge. But this is the race that captures the attention of the nation. Plenty of offers, as always, in Boylesports. Money back if you're second to the SP Fab as a free bet, that is, across every single race at Fairyhouse across the 3 days. So do take advantage of that. We're 5 places on the Boylesports Irish Grand National for now. Hopefully all will go well with decorations tomorrow, and then we will be 6 places post-deck. So lots of value and lots more as well. Have a check on the Boylesports website, the Boylesports app, and there's many more surprises in there over a brilliant Easter weekend.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And of course, we want you out there to put in your 5cast selections. The 5 races that we're going to be looking at are the 122, 152, the 222, the 410 and the 445 contests on Sunday. And we'd love your selections in the comment section below. And big thank you before we start to our sponsors, of course, EJ Menswear down in Sligo. We've got Gowran Park Racecourse and Shamrock Thoroughbreds as well. What a season they had down in Dundalk. And of course, we have Boylesports, our betting partner. Barry, you'll kick us all off by giving us a little insight to what's coming up at Gowran Park in the coming weeks.
Yeah, well, of course, it's all about Fairyhouse this weekend, Dave, but Gowran Park, the June bank holiday, I mean, if you haven't got your tickets as of yet, the bank holiday Monday, I mean, hopefully the sun will be shining. It was last season, Dusty Foley and, of course, Dusty Foley and Jessica Harrington teaming up for the feature race, which was the Gowran Classic, the richest race in Gowran Park. But as you can see, Robert Grace will have the guitar out, the tent will be hopping, and of course, buses in and out of Kilkenny once again. A great weekend in store, and the June bank holiday Monday. Put it in the diary if you haven't got your tickets as of yet. GowranPark.ie. It'll be great to see you down in Gowran, Dave.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to that great weekend. Right, gents, let's kick it all off. We're going to, Barry, give you first dibs on the opening race, of course, on Sunday afternoon. We kick it all off with that novice handicap hurdle. What stands out here for you, Baz?
Well, look, Crescent Moon is going to be high on people's list, the top weight for Keith Donoghue and Gavin Cromwell, the men who can do no wrong at the moment. And this horse absolutely bolted up, beating Thomas Kyle's Divil a Bother quite nicely. And the front 2 pulled nicely clear of the third as well at Fairyhouse. That was just 14 days ago. This horse was a real eye catcher, Crescent Moon, Dave, at Cork at the early part of the season, but disappointed on soft ground at Gowran Park. I thought it was going to be a big contender at Gowran Park when it ran there, and just disappointed on the softer ground. And just a weather update, Dave. I mean, it's currently yielding to soft, and we're scheduled as we're recording, Dave, on Good Friday, another 11 mil of rain on Saturday, and you know, if there's going to be more rain on Sunday morning, we could have scattered showers. So the ground is going to be testing this horse. I just would be a little bit concerned. Up 14 pounds. I know it bolted up the last day, 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago at Fairyhouse, but just would be a small concern. The ground, and obviously it's gone up in the weight. So the one I like in here is actually Rebecca Curtis. We heard from her. If anyone hasn't checked out the podcast this week, she's 6 runners at Fairyhouse. And as we were recording, Dave, just one of 6 runners to run at Fairyhouse for Rebecca Curtis. The stable is absolutely flying at the moment. Ben Solo is the one horse she said next year she cannot wait to see over a fence. We saw Hottie Galore performed well in novice hurdles last season, but I think Rebecca Curtis horses in general, when they go over a fence, you're going to see, much better animals. And they're, this horse is a fine strapping son of Kingston Hill. He's a point-to-point graduate from the Colombo stable, just 6 years of age. And I think the form reads well from Chepstow, where it was second to Judy Ball, beat 6 lengths back in February, Dave. The form reads well because the winner's gone on and is rated now 129. This horse, Ben Solo, is 3 pounds lower in Ireland, racing off 116. I think still there could be more to come over hurdles. Clearly the horse is in decent form. 2 seconds to its name. I think stepping up to 2-4 is definitely going to suit this horse. And the ground is coming right for Ben Solo, whereas Crescent Moon I would have concern. So Ben Solo for me, I think on the tissue price is 10-1. If you were getting double figures, I think this horse will run well. Definitely a horse to look forward to next year over fences, but I think the horse will run well for Rebecca Curtis, who currently, Dave, as we're recording, is operating at a 38% strike rate at the moment.
Yeah, lovely, Barry. And of course, Eddie Cawley's got a very interesting runner in this opening race as well, and sponsoring the race, which is significant for me. And that's a runner by the name of Must Go Now. And the selection was one in good style over course and distance on New Year's Day. And if you look back on its latest run, didn't get the clearest of run, finishing well into third behind Cape Court. So I think Eddie Cawley, race sponsor, could have a big hand in that opener as well. Must Go Now, another to mention in that first race on Sunday. Right, Brian, we're going to come to you as we look ahead to race number 2, which is the 152, of course. It is the novice handicap chase. It's a listed contest here. And as it stands, we have 13 in the lineup.
Yeah, as a company man, Dave, I'll have to mention it's Boylesports sponsored as well. Run race each day across the weekend. This was quite a tricky puzzle to solve. I think there's plenty in here that you could like. There's plenty in here you could see bouncing back as well, particularly the likes of Pat Doru. But the one for me, I think he's around 7-1 at the moment. It's trained by Paul Nolan, and that's Conyers Hill. He was heavily backed when second to the old boy Effernock Fizz in the Rigo hurdle at this meeting last year, and he followed that up with a big run again over hurdles at Punchestown. Took a while to get his head in front over fences, but he did so at Down Royal, and I thought he was a real eye catcher at Cheltenham in the Grand Annual. Just took him a little bit of time to get into that race after an early mistake, but he stayed on well. 2 pounds lower on Sunday, back to his Irish mark, and he's certainly one that won't mind any juice in the ground. Don't think we've seen the best of over fences just yet, and he'll do me at a decent price. So that's Conyers Hill for that man, Paul Nolan. Yeah,
Paul Nolan. It'd be great to see him having a winner, and that a great old sing-song could occur if that is the case. Barry, how have you taken this Boylesports, proud sponsors, of course, since 2014, novice handicap chase apart?
Yeah, the Paul Nolan stable likes a rendition of Boule Vogue, does Paul, so it'll be interesting to see what comes. I mean, the Grand Annual form, it looks the best piece of form on offer coming in here. Jasco de Dam, just seeing prices have opened up. That's 6-1 for Henry the Bromhead. Obvious claims. Would the ground be, getting a little bit too soft for Jasco de Dam? I think its best form is on a little bit of nicer ground. Conyers Hill, obviously, it has obvious claims, and Paul Nolan has released the beast in there as well. So all obvious contenders. But for me, one of the sharpest operators in the game, Dave, is Pádraig Roach. A small team of horses, right down the bottom of the weights. Mispronunciation, if I've pronounced it right, Dave. Right down the bottom of the weights. 10-4, Mark Walsh. He's getting down to a low weight here to ride this mare, and she has the course form. She won on heavy ground at Fairyhouse over 2 miles and 4 furlongs in the past. I mean, she's 8 pounds lower over fences than a hurdles mark of 130. She's coming in off the back of a real solid run as well, third, and made real headway before the second last, before what looked to me, Dave, like she blew up. I mean, she was banged there at Gowran Park in the Shamrock Chase. She's finished third. That's, she's coming in off the back of a really good run. 21% strike rate, Pádraig Roach, with his runners at Fairyhouse. I think of all the trainers in the race, he actually has the best record at Fairyhouse, 21%. That's dating back to 2010. So does well with his runners around there. And I suppose Mark Walsh and JP won the race, teamed up when winning the race with Dino Blue back in 2023. I'm not saying this mare is a Dino Blue, but she's in off a nice racing weight. She's a course winner. And I think there's plenty of these as well. Like the likes of Jesse Evans, top weight, he's going to need nicer ground. There's plenty of these that actually do need nicer ground. She'll relish the conditions. Every bit of rain that falls, Dave, is going to help her claims. And as I mentioned, like she's 8 pound lower over fences than her hurdles mark. I think there's more to come from her for Pádraig Roach. 12-1 will do me, Dave, each way. I wouldn't say that'll last.
No, I don't. I actually think you're right. When I was looking at the race as well, Barry, I thought Mark Walsh getting on board, going down. It's a low weight for him, and mispronunciation could very much, or could be very strongly backed in that.
She loved the ground, won't she, Dave?
I think so. She absolutely love it at Fairyhouse, and with the rain coming, I think she'll really appreciate it. Well, 6 will line up for the Willow Warm Gold Cup. It's the grade 1 over 2.5 miles at 2:22. 3 for Clough Sutton, 2 for Coluntra, and Conor Keeffe has thrown a dart as well in this one, of course, with Kilbarry Saint. And last year, of course, we saw the brilliant Spillans Tower for Jimmy Mangan and Mark Walsh win. This year, Barry, we have Willie Mullins' charge, Paul Townend on board. Champ.ie, last time out winner, currently favoured at the top of the market at around 13-8.
Down memory lane at Atlantique and Champ.ie. I'd have question marks about him. I mean, is he really still progressive, Champ.ie? Seems like we've been talking about him for a long time now. And has he really promised or delivered what he promised in his earlier days over hurdles? I'm not so sure. As well as that, his best form, David, is actually on a little bit of nicer ground. I know he's won on soft ground in the past, but his best form is on nicer ground. Obviously, Paul Townend is on board. Looking at the bare form, for me, Spindlebury is the one here at 5-2. And Danny Mullins, certainly no bad spare. And a very interesting stat that might back up my argument here, Dave, is Willie Mullins has won this race 5 times in the last 6 years. And we've only had one Willie Mullins trained favourite in that period. So he's won it with second strings in the past. Spindlebury, the minute she won at Fairyhouse in February, Willie Mullins nominated this race as the target, not the Mare's Chase at Cheltenham. I thought she'd done it nicely. She's 2 from 2 over fences, 2 from 3 on soft ground in her career, and all 3 wins have come right-handed. So for me, when Paul Townend gets on Champ.ie, it obviously is a small bit of a concern here. But Spindlebury, looking at the bare form, 5-2. I just think, I mean, she's a pound wrong with Champ.ie if you take into consideration the allowance. But, you know, you're not taking into consideration when you're looking at the bare figures that this horse could improve plenty. Champ.ie at the age of 9, is he really improving? Dave, 5-2 for me, Spindlebury. I think she's one of the bets of the day. Okay,
Spindlebury for Barry then at 5-2. Brian, what have you come down on the Gold Cup?
From a bookie's POV, we would have liked Ballybyrne in here. I don't think we'll ever fear taking him on over fences, but sadly not. Off to Punchestown he goes. But Willie still has that stranglehold on the market. I'd be similar to Barry. I'd be willing to take on Champ.ie. I know the ones have reappeared beside his name since going chasing, but his beginners was a nothing race. 8 horses in behind him that day. None have won a race since. And again, what did he beat last time at Naas? I'm not sure it was much. And sandwiched in between, rather, a grade 1 run. And I think he was found out in that company. I'd be taking him on. I do like Spindlebury. I think she's a mare that's definitely going places. Thought she was really good and beaten by Bioluminescence, who we'll hopefully see in the big one on Monday. But I am going to go for the outsider of 3. I'm wearing the colours already, David. I'm going for the outsider of the Mullins Battalion, Il Atlantique. I thought he beat a really solid horse in his beginners in Waterford Whispers. I thought he was good beating Firefox as well in the Racing Post at Naas. Disappointed in the Irish Arkle, but I think we can put a line through that one. It was too bad to be true. And I think he's got a cracking chance here. And Patrick, he's been on a good few of the right ones lately.
Yes, he certainly has. It is, of course, a 7-2 chance with Boylesports with Champ.ie 13-8. It's a cracking race. 3 for Willie, 2 for Gordon, and Conor Keeffe, Kilbarry Saint in there as well. Darragh O'Keefe on board at 66-1. Right, we're going to look at the final 2 races right after the break.
Yes, so hello, Barry Doyle from the Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's Funny Horse Racing podcast. I'm here with my co-host, David Byrnes, and we're here in Sligo Town, David, in EJ Menswear, and EJMenswear.com. Fantastic season ahead. EJ has kindly partnered up with us to be the men's fashion partner with Champ.ie for the season. And David, we're suited and booted. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. And this fantastic bundle and this outfit we're wearing is costing $2.99. It sets you up beautifully for the racing season ahead, which includes Leopardstown at Christmas, Tiestes Day at Gowran Park, and of course, if you want to go even bigger, you can get togged out for the Cheltenham and Aintree festivals later on in the season.
Absolutely, and of course, check out the Champ.ie podcast right through the season, Mondays and Thursdays, and look at the offer, the tailored bundle for the racing season, $2.99, blazer, shirt, chino, socks and shoes. What's not to like, lads? Check out EJMenswear.com to find out all the racing offers.
Yes, well, welcome back, of course, EJ Menswear. You haven't yet got togged out. Might still be time to get online and get your clothes for Monday's Boylesports Irish Grand National. Lads, for me, this is the race of the day on Sunday that we're going to look at. It is the Honeysuckle Mares Novices Hurdle, Grade 1. And it is some grade 1 to look forward to, because when you look at the runners we have in here, we've got the big Westerner, who Barry and I at this stage have spoken so much on that run at Cheltenham, when 2.5 lengths behind Jasmine Defoe. That was a really, really good performance there. 6.5. How this one got beaten at the festival, I just don't know. Gavin Cromwell's runner, that's 100 to 30 for Keith Donoghue. And Brian, I'm going to come to you first on this. I think it's probably the race of the day on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. An absolutely cracking renewal, isn't it, Dave? I mean, I think it's the only grade 1 novice for mares in Ireland. They've been richly rewarded, Fairyhouse. As you mentioned, the big Westerner, a real eye-catching run at Cheltenham. Thought she was a shade unlucky to meet trouble in running just as they turned for home when the race was really starting to develop. And I know team Henry de Bromhead really, really like her from talking to Puppy Power. The rain's going to really help her chances. It is interesting she goes for this one over 2.5. But she is short enough in what looks a pretty hot race. And I'm going to go for one of the runners from the Mares Novice at Cheltenham, and that is 6.5. Maybe I'm going to be a glutton for punishment, but God, she travels like a dream, doesn't she? She's lured me in once again. Maybe it was the Cheltenham Hill that found her out, but she does stay 2 miles on the flat, so I don't have any stamina reservations. Maybe she just hit the front a little too early, but I think she can turn that form around with air of entitlement, and she might just get the better of Henry's other mare as well. 100 to 30, I'm going in again, 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5 for you, Brian. And Barry, I'm just going to take a guess here, but are you going to be on the big Westerner side again at Fairyhouse? I know you had it at a very, very nice, of course, on the road to Cheltenham show. I think it was a 25 to 1 or 33 to 1. You had it in the AntePost book for Cheltenham. And how unlucky was it for the way the race was ran? Are you back in the big Western camp for Sunday?
I am, Dave. I'm back in our camp, and I think the ground has, tipped the scales for me. And I think this is an incredible race, Dave. There's no question. It's not the race of the day. This could be the race of the whole spring festivals in Ireland, because I think these two mares, you could be looking at a champion hurdle mare versus a future Gold Cup mare here. And it is the ground, Dave, that has tipped the scales here for me. I think it was a phenomenal run for the big Westerner. What she done in such a short space of time, moving in against the geldings at Limerick, obviously at Cheltenham, the run, she was so keen travelling down the hill. She done a lot wrong in the early part of the race. She obviously was an eye catcher. She met trouble in running, and just looking at the bare form, I think the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, they're all very, very good horses coming out of the Albert Bartlett. I just think, she's the top rated 140. I'm going to side with her. Don't rule out a massive run back on soft ground at Fairyhouse from Caroline Bamboo. I don't think she's seen the best effect on nice ground. She's forming soft in France. She's 18 to 1. She's way overpriced at that. But it's the match of the match for me at Fairyhouse. It could be the match of the whole Spring Festival campaign in Ireland, Punchestown included. Really looking forward to this race. And Henry de Bromhead, I think he'll be keen to win it. Of course, the race named after Honeysuckle. He's had 4 winners in the last 2 weeks, stable in form. And Honeysuckle herself won this race back in 2019.
Sports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Yes, on to the 4:45 we go then. It's the handicap hurdle. It's over 2.5 miles. And one I like in here, Barry, is Money Heist. I think Gavin Cromwell's runner, Keith Donoghue, on board, was a very encouraging 5th last time out. And I think there could be plenty more to come. Keith Donoghue is on board this afternoon. What have you come down on in this 4:45?
Not the strongest fancy the entire weekend, Dave, but I'm between two. I thought, look, Tony Martin, obvious claims here with Area Fortuna, who was seen 2 weeks ago, obviously, when finishing 4th at Fairyhouse. And obviously, Tony Martin at Fairyhouse, 3rd run in a handicap, owned by John Breslin and Rachel Blackmore booked, would have to be on the short list. Wouldn't be surprised if there was money about for that, but has to prove itself on softer ground. That could be a worry. I'm at Poor. Doesn't have to prove itself on soft ground. There's had plenty of racing. One on soft ground for Mick Halford. And Ian Donoghue has made a brilliant start to his training career. And, banging in the winners what did he have? The winner of the Ulster National recently as well with Dunboyne. So Imad was a winner at Belliostown after being a real eye catcher at Wexford. Made real ground up from the back of the second last at Wexford and finished second, and obviously went on to back up and win. Well backed at 7-4 when winning at Belliostown. I think that's good form. Up £9, but Jordan Williamson takes off the 7, and on the soft ground. It's won on soft ground for Mick Halford on the level in the past. Experience won't be an issue in here. And given the fact that Dave, it's rated 100, it's rated 74 on the level, I think there could be more to come off 104. So for me, I'm very much with Imad at 15-2, but don't rule out Tony Martin's attracting support. 12-1, I saw on the tissue prices of Ray Fortuna. I don't see it starting that price, Dave, with Rachel Blackmore on board.
Okay, Barry, that's your selection for it. And Brian, what have you come down on in this 445?
Well, it's bad news for Barry. Fools seldom differ. Great minds think alike. Who knows? Because I also like this Imad Poor. As he said, Ian Donoghue, what a start he's made to his career. Dunboyne, hopefully we'll see him again on Monday in the Boylesports Irish Grand National. He's worked his magic with that horse, and he seems to have worked his magic as well with Imad Poor. Really, really improved him since he got him from Andrew McNamara. Just the 4 starts for Ian. Won last time at Belliostown just last weekend. And I thought probably should have won at Wexford as well. 2 starts ago. Up £9. But I think that form from Belliostown's probably going to work out. We've already seen a horse come out of the race and win since. Harry Rogers trained the second as well. We know how he likes to target Belliostown. So I think that might just work out. Good pilot on board, taking off 7 as well, Dave. So he ticks plenty of boxes for me, Imad Poor. But I'd like to see the other horse run well in the race for Ian Donoghue as well. St. Dennis as well. He's owned not too far from me, so I'll be cheering him on. But Imad Poor, number 1.
Yes, absolutely. It's a cracking day. And once again, we ask you to put in your 5 selections for those 5 races that we've given you our thoughts on. We're going to come back right after this little break, and we'll be back with our nap and next best selections for Sunday's racing at Fairyhouse.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds have taken owners all over the world.
Tiger Bell in front, holds them. Late on the scene is Dawn Charger storming home, but Tiger Bell in front and won.
Coming through in the centre, Laugh a Minute with a strong challenge on this Laugh a Minute, who goes on in the closing stages to win by a length and a half. Laugh a Minute from Fiscal Roots.
But it's Harry's Bar repelling the late challenge of the stable companion Dream Today, and Harry's Bar makes it 6-course win.
Check out ShamrockThoroughbreds.com or click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description to learn more about new racehorse ownership opportunities.
Yes, welcome back. And of course, it is the Fairyhouse Easter Festival meeting. And we're all looking forward, of course, to the Boylesports Irish Grand National on Monday. And don't forget to look out as well for our very special Boylesports Irish Grand National show, which will be coming your way in around somewhere on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. Keep an eye out for that. Right, let's go around the table. I might as well kick it off, lads, with next best and nap selections. I am with Must Go Now as a as a next best in the opening race each way. I think it's got a very, very good chance for Eddie Cawley. And I'm also going to go with 6.5. I was so sweet on 6.5 chances. That's the nap pick for me. I think it's the most fascinating race of the day, but I do think 6.5 back on a flatter surface, I think we'll have the better of these. And that's my nap pick. So we're going to give you the floor next, Brian, for your nap and next best for Sunday.
Yeah, next best for me. I'm going to go for the Ian Donoghue horse in that 445 in Manpoor. I think he's got a big chance each way. And I'm going to join you, Dave. Again, going for 6.5 in the mare's race, the Honeysuckle, the 410. For all the reasons you said, I think she'll turn the tables of entitlement, and I think she'll be good enough to get the better of the big Westerner dropping down a trip.
And I have a feeling the man beside us is going to be going against us here with our nap selection. Over to you, Barry.
No, I'm actually going to go with Spindlebury, Dave. And it's not often I do this, nap against 2 other Willie Mullinses and Paul Town and Patrick in the one race. But I think Danny might just be on the right one here on Spindlebury. I think she's been targeted this race, as I mentioned, instead of the Mare's Chase. This has been mapped out as the plan. And for me, I think she's progressive, whereas I'm not entirely. There's a couple with question marks for me, and I think she's outstanding claims at odds of 5-2. And the next best for me would have to be Polly Roach's runner. Mispronunciation of the listed handicap Chase, right down the bottom. Mark Walsh on board. A stable that likes to have a winner at Fairyhouse and have a good strike rate there. She's the course form. She'll handle the ground. And there's a couple, I think, with question marks on the ground and whether they'll back up as well off the back of hard races at Cheltenham.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to Sunday's racing. Don't forget, Boylesports have so many great offers from Boyle Extra card holders with money back second and third in selected races to the SB favourite. Extra places aplenty throughout Sunday's racing, and we'll be talking with Brian again on our special edition for the Fairyhouse, the Boylesports Irish Grand National on Sunday. But for now, hopefully we found you some winners, and a very happy Easter to you all from the team here at Champ.ie.
Boylesports. Don't just bet, choose wisely.